All right, hello everybody. This is Dendris for X Submariner Plays U-Boat. Here we are in La Rochelle. We are getting ready. We're getting ready for our next patrol. We're all loaded up with our stores. Torpedoes are loaded. Um, Everything's ready to go. Um, it's just a matter of choosing our next mission. Um, so we've we rescued the Greg's Marine official. Now he's working for us, and we get the Naval Academy. And while our crew is taking vacation, we had one of the crew members go to the Naval Academy, and hopefully he'll receive some of his some skills. Um, we finished the first part of the Happy Time. Uh, we sunk over 50,000 tons, so we're well on our way to the next part of that for the Happy Time. And so far, so good. We've been fairly lucky that the escorts have been pretty lackluster, I would say. Um, Not really enthusiastic about hunting for us, so we've been lucky in that regard. Um, we have uh, uh, a headquarters uh, technology mission, I guess you call it, to research a research mission, I guess, to do the G73 torpedoes, I believe is what they are, G73E or something like that, which hopefully should eliminate. Which should hopefully eliminate some of the issues we've had with our torpedoes. Hopefully, right? It seems like every once in a while our torpedoes uh, run too deep, and I don't know if that's just because it's my fault or I don't know. I just see that it looks like a perfect attack, and the torpedo just runs right past the ship. So hopefully that'll fix it. But let's go and grab our mission. Uh, the harbor looks all right. We did put some submarine pins in Helgoland, uh, just to test to see if I needed to do that before we can. I want to get some submarine pins here if possible. Definitely don't like being exposed like that, especially for aircraft. But let's grab the mission real quick and get going.
Beim BDU wird viel über Ihre letzte Patrouillenfahrt geredet. Gute Arbeit.
One of the things is I want to find the missions that have milk cows, if possible, just to prepare for when we go to the U.S. coast. So hopefully keep an eye out for both of those missions that give us milk cows.
Dies sind die heutigen Aufträge vom BDU. Streng geheim.
This is way out there, and this is just patrol sector. It's not doesn't really. I want to get we got the happy time here. Okay, um, medium difficulty, and this is interesting. This is I think that's a nicer area to do. Um, this could be interesting too, but it's reward Klaus Engler. Huh. Okay. Well, this gives us a Klaus Engler, so that's something to consider, right? Silent run. What does that say? Hmm. Nice silent run. What does that do? That's if we can get through that, that would be nice. But I really don't. I don't want to go to the med. Just don't want to right now. Yeah. Milk cow if you do 3 of them. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Okay, we're gonna have to consider that, I guess. We're gonna have to consider doing this then, because if it gives us milk cow, right? Um, uh, quick loading. Yeah, ends on. They don't give us that choice to do it. Oh, probably because we have to be at the uh, Wilhelmshaven probably to do that. But that's okay. I don't want to go through the Strait of Gibraltar. It's La Spezia. La Spezia. Yeah, it's just yeah. I want to get a milk cow, but let's go for this. Finish this. Continue with the happy time. We get another engineer, which is always nice. Um, so we'll choose that. Um, Hopefully, we'll have more opportunities for for getting milk cows there. All right, so here we're going to get ready to go. So we're going to kind of go through a really, I think, for a part of this episode, we're going to kind of talk about the captain's SOPs, standard operating procedures. Um, every submarine, every ship that I know of, every boat is going to have a captain's SOP. It's a book that's usually kept in the control room, um, and it details the operating procedures, uh, standard operating procedures for all sorts of evolutions, all sorts of conditions. It says basically what needs to be done by the officers and men, um, who's in charge, who needs to report, who you report to. It may say who is supposed to signal their readiness or the wording, like prepare to dive, um, and all that. And so before we submarines get ready, basically you do an inspection of your boat, make sure that everything's ready. You want to make sure you're ready to head out to sea. And so uh, the first thing is for U-boats and uh, for U.S. submarines too, probably. Uh, uh, so U.S. submarines would be probably. I'm not sure if it's executive officer or officer of the deck. Uh, um, but for U-boats, so the watch officer, he's gonna he's gonna check the underwater communications equipment, and then he's gonna be check the loading braces for the torpedoes, signal buoys. Going to be checking those. The engineering officer, he's going to turn on the gyro compass about 5 hours before you set sail. Right, so they don't leave it on; they turn it off, and then they turn it on 5 hours before you get to sail, before you get ready to sail. And then they're going to make adjustments to the depth gauge, trim angle, and heeling indicators. And then they're going to test the diving planes. And then they're going to check the hull closures and vent valve position indicators down below there, right? Your little lights. The engineering officer is going to establish the trim computations, make sure the boat is trim, make sure that the boat is charged. Um, if you have shore power, uh, you know, so U-boats, they get hooked up to like shore power type deal, right? So basically lines that go in and provide steam heat for the boat, right? So there's a steam hose that provides steam heat inside the U-boat. So anyways, basically you're going to discharge, you're going to get all that stuff unhooked. Make sure that your battery is all charged. Okay. Um, you're going to test your periscope, and then you're gonna close and check the hatches and bulkheads. You'll perform a leak test. Okay. You may test the diesel engines, make sure they're running. You're going to make sure that everything is stowed for sea, right? Uh, so you're going to make everything is stowed for sea. U.S. subs usually um, one of the things they say is make preparations for underway, um, um, or prepare to get underway. And so this is what you do, and um, you're going to close all the hatches, anyways, right? Close all the hatches. Make sure all the hatches are closed except for the conning tower hatch. Okay. And there should be a man underneath each of these hatches, and he's going to report to the engineering officer. So he's going to report torpedo loading hatch is off, galley hatch off, right? So he's just basically saying they're closed, that um, that they're properly closed, right? They're properly secured. And then from each station, you're going to get boat is ready for sea, machinery room is going to report is ready for sea. Um, and so what that means is the boat is ready to prepare to go underway, and that everything is secure, everything is good, no leaks were found, and the boat's ready to dive. And then once that is done, uh, then the captain basically will say station the maneuvering watch, and you'll get underway. Um, but that's kind of the basic operations for getting underway, um, and you'll find those procedures in the captain's SOP.
Kurs setzen. Schneller, schneller!
All right, we've reached our patrol sector. Pretty uneventful trip. Couple reports of convoys being sighted by U-boats and look like wolf pack boats headed toward those contacts, but I did a quick dive, see if I could hear what they were hearing or what they were chasing, and kind of tried to look around, see if I could follow them, see what if there was anything that I could join, and they didn't have none of the no merchants. I didn't see anything. I don't know if they had already sunk everything by the time I reached the area, or what. But no joy. Nothing was there. Um, we'll go ahead and start our patrol. Get everything ready to go. And
Herr Kaloy?
maybe kind of talk about real quickly. So diving operations, right? So, what the heck? So this is what happens if you don't close the upper hatch. You don't close that upper hatch. It is closed. Huh. And they need to check. There's a leak somewhere around here. All right. So, anyways. So again, likely your captain's SOP is going to be somewhere in the conning room. It'll be accessible. So anytime any of the officers, anybody, if you're doing any special evolutions, is going to be ready for you to verify, to make sure that you follow the procedures, right? And especially submarines, procedures. You follow the procedures to the letter. You don't want to leave a valve open that is supposed to be closed, because you can quickly run into trouble. You can end up sinking the ship or the boat. I mean, so we're going to talk about preparing to dive, right? So you've heard maybe on movies, you might hear officers say, officers up to the deck, rig for dive or prepare for dive, and you'll have diving officer or say, rig for dive, and they repeat the order back to the officer of the deck, and so the evolution starts for getting ready to dive the boat. And so for U-boats, according to the U-boat captain, standard operating procedure, the commander, the captain, is going to give the order, prepare to dive. And he's going to give that to the engineering officer. And the engineering officer is going to repeat that order to all the different rooms, right? And make sure that it passes down to all the responsible. Everybody's responsible, but to all the responsible rooms, right? Man to man, verbally. So once the commander gives the order, prepare to dive. He may say, he may start first with upper deck, prepare to dive, and then later below deck, prepare to dive. But engineering officer gives that command to the different rooms, and so the watch officer He's going to prepare the upper deck to dive. So he's going to prepare the conning tower. He's going to prepare the artillery for dive. Make sure that everything's ready for diving. Make sure that the gun is stowed. All the guns are stowed, ready to go. Make sure that the communication equipment is, the antennas or whatever is up there is ready to dive. And he's going to make sure that the torpedo armaments are ready to dive. The engineering officer is going to calculate and establish the trim conditions and the weight of the boat, and he's going to make sure all the technical aspects of the upper deck are ready to dive, and he's going to prepare the below decks to dive. Right. So the watch officer is going to be responsible for the upper deck, and the engineering officer is going to be responsible for below deck, but also the technical aspects of the upper deck. So for the watch officer, and when he's preparing the upper deck to dive, he's going to follow a set procedure. And a lot of these procedures, so like the preparation dive, you'll have little, you might have a checklist, right? And that officer is going to be responsible for the checklist. He's going to have a set of conditions, set of valves, and all that other stuff that's going to be checked off, and he's going to sign off on that, right? So when he's preparing the upper deck to dive, he's going to make sure that all loose items are stowed. There's no loose items under the upper deck. All the objects, such as lines, fenders, torpedo loading devices, the gangway, if they have a dinghy, everything's lashed, so nothing can be torn loose, or foul the gear. Don't want it to foul up the diesel exhaust or vents or ducting or the propellers even, right? Make sure that all access hatches are checked for proper closing, and that they do not rattle. The signal buoy is latched and secured. The drain and plug screw of the dinghy must be open. And so when he's getting ready for the bridge, this is the bridge here, he's going to make sure that the folding seats are well secured, because they do rattle if they, through the water pressure, right? All the wooden grates are checked. The little speaking tubes here are closed, and they're closed on the order of the captain. And you want to make sure that they're closed before you go down and close the hatch. Okay. So that's the upper deck. Looks like I'm a little steam coming. It's cold out there. For a minute there, I thought the steam was coming from the hatch, but it's actually my breath, supposedly, right? Oh, here we go. If I can get this open here. All right. Okay. Now the engineering officer responsible for below decks. He's going to make sure the shutoff valves are closed for submerged operation, but he's also going to make sure that they are operating correctly, right? It doesn't do you any good if they're closed, but you find out that you can't open them if you need them, right? He's going to make sure that there's correct indications of the display devices, right? So he's going to make sure that everything is showing a correct indication. Just like in a regular submarine, guess what? The officer, the men are going to be doing these operations. The officer has to personally sign off on these. So he's going to be checking these. He's going to go and personally inspect that the hatches and the support beams are closed properly. So he's going to verify all the hatches are closed. He's going to go through here, make sure that the torpedo loading hatch is secured properly. Make sure that the support beams in the hatch are in place, ready for submerged operation. He's going to make sure that the bilges are all pumped out, right? Because that's going to affect your trim. You don't want to be if you already calculate your trim, you want to make sure that you're at the best condition, right? So the bilges are all going to be pumped, because he needs to figure out, well, how much water do I need to pump using the trim pump. Make sure that the regulating and trim tanks, the water is distributed properly, or else you're going to have a bad day, right? You don't want to be submerged diving, going too great of an angle. You don't want to be going cockeyed. You want to make sure you go down at the correct angle and level. You're going to have some degree of down angle, down bubble, and when you do like angles and angles, we call those. You go at a pretty good steep angle. You can. The submarine can, especially in emergencies. But you want to make sure everything's stowed away. All stations are going to be reporting, like the cook. You better have his pots and pans stowed, ready to dive, secured, because you don't want those rattling around, because they'll fall off. So in each station, each of the stations in the rooms, the senior either petty officer or senior person in the room will report the readiness to dive. So they'll report that they're ready to dive. And the engineering officer is going to do those checks. He's going to check each individual room. He's going to be checking the through hull closures, the torpedo and communication sections of the boat. He's going to verify with the torpedo men that the condition of the torpedo tubes and torpedo tanks are ready. The leaders of the different sections make sure that they tell if there's the position of any weights, like torpedoes or whatever in the boat. Any movement of weights. Again, you want to keep that level. And make sure that your diving board's ready to go. And so he's going to report going to report to the captain. Captain, the boat is ready to dive. Below decks at diving stations, and negative pressure test is completed. And the commanding officer is going to say, prepare to dive if it hasn't already been ordered. And then he's going to, the captain is going to say, tell the boat through the intercom, right? Through the intercom, he's going to say prepare to dive, but then he's going to say open the flood valves, watertight bow, watertight stern. And so the men are going to prepare that evolution. They're going to do those controls, right? They're going to open the flood valves. Each station, right? So these are the valves, I believe, for the stern flood valves, and these are the forward valves for the forward the bow tank, the flood tank. But the minute they're going to open the valves, flood valves they're going to report that the flood valves are on. They're going to report that the watertight bow and watertight stern are on, right? The engineering officer then reports flood valves, watertight bow, watertight stern on. And then the captain's going to report to the boat. To diving stations. And so the men are going to report to their diving stations. Then they're going to, when everything's ready. Sorry, so they're actually going to be, when they say on, I mean to say that they don't open them. They'll go to. I think they check that the indicator, but my bad. Sorry. So what's going to happen is captain says ready at the vents. Engineering officer is going to say ready at the vents to the boat. And then each vent operator is going to report vent one ready, and all that. And then each station is going to be vents ready. And then when they report back, the engineering officer is going to report vents ready. Then the captain is going to say flood. And the engineering officer to the boat, the captain's going to say to the boat, flood. The engineering officer is going to report flood, and the different stations are going to report flood. And then the engineering officer is going to say one on, I'm assuming, for the valves. And that flood that they report, they're going to report it to all rooms. They're going to be reporting to each verbally to each room, to all the rooms. The posts, the area, the people, the men that are monitoring the area, the tanks or the valves, they're going to report when they hear the air. The captain is then going to tell the crew, or tell the dive to go to X number of meters, so say 100 meters, and the engineering officer is going to repeat back, go to 100 meters, and the engineering officer is going to report the depth in increments of 10 meters. So he's going to say just like they do, I think, on the boat here. 10 meters, 20 meters. Then the engineering officer is going to report that the boat is oscillated, and then the captain is going to say close vents. And the engineering officer is going to repeat back, close the vents, and he's going to report that, he's going to say that to all the rooms verbally. And each of the posts are going to say, vent 1 off and locked, vent 2 off and locked, and they're going to report back. And when everybody's reported back with all the vents that are off and locked, the engineering officer will report back vents off. So, but that's kind of the operation for just for preparing to dive, and that's kind of how we do it on submarines. I mean, this modern subs. You have repeat backs. You have the captain telling the officer of the deck what officer deck prepare to dive and all that stuff, and officer deck will repeat back, prepare to dive, aye sir, or whatever, and then he's going to tell the diving officer, or diving officer, all this stuff. And the captain's going, so there's going to be a lot of back and forth talking. People are going to, they report only when, so like when the engineering officer, he waited till everybody reported, and he's probably got a little checklist that every valve has reported that they were off and secure, and he's going to make check, off and secure. Then he's going to report vents off, or all vents off. So that is what you're going to hear when you're in the submarine. You're going to go through this evolution. There's going to be a certain procedure that you're going to follow each room on the modern submarines and the U-boats is going to be responsible for a certain aspect of their room, whether that's opening the valves, closing the valves, making sure that things are stowed, ready. You're preparing to dive. But there we go. All right, so let's continue our patrol. And thank you guys for listening here.
Jawohl.
All right, so we have been racing through the night to get ahead of a convoy that we sonar reported. Said it's a large convoy. So we're well ahead of them, and in a good position. So we're going to a little closer, and then our regular operation, dive, get past the destroyer screen, and get inside the convoy. It was expected to be on patrol for a lot longer before I could hear the convoy, but sounds like these are going to be rich hunting grounds. So, and hopefully, if we report the convoy, we might get a wolf pack coming in. But we'll see. All right. Seems like we spotted another U-boat coming in. I don't know if if they're on their way to get the convoy too or not. See if I can spot them. There they are. Sorry, just trying to. Thought I had an extra zoom. I keep thinking, with like the periscopes, you have a better zoom. But all right, so there they are. Hopefully, they can help us out with this convoy. Still over the horizon. Still a little bit of ways to go before we can report them. As soon as they report, as soon as we can see their funnel smoke, we'll report it out. So with that U-boat near us, hopefully they'll get the message. And there's the other U-boat. Looks like it's going in for the attack. I was afraid it was just going to pass us, but it looks like they're on their way. So, all right. All right, starting to see the upper mass. Merchant's there. Merchant. Merchant. That possibly definitely a destroyer there. Merchant. So I think at least 2 escorts that I could see. Maybe that's no, that's a merchant. Escorts there. Okay. All right, we're going to prepare to dive.
Auf Seerohrtiefe gehen!
All right, we're at action stations. Getting ready to enter the convoy, slip between the escorts. They seem like they're pretty widely spaced. Our friend U-boat is just ahead of us to the port, north of us there. So this looks like it's going to be a fun operation. All right, sonar reported increased revolutions on the escorts and some changes in their bearing, rapid changes in the bearing. So it seems like they have and you can see the searchlights here now. So it sounds like they might have spotted the other U-boat. All right, so we're going to look for. So we got a lot of activity, a lot of pings going on, depth charges. We're going to look for a good merchant to get here. Escort. Okay. So we're gonna let the convoy kind of run over us and try to be as stealthy as we can. Hopefully our friend U-boat doesn't bring escorts our way. But we're going to continue making our way in a northerly course. And of course the merchants are starting to zigzag now because of the alert. so they know that U-boats are in the area, which will make our targeting a little bit harder. All right, here we go. Let's get this Empire. Call it Empire Tower. Velocity 7. Course. Right on there. Set. Distance. Let's get this going here. Set.
Rohr 2, bewässern!
Dispersion's all right.
Rohr 2,
Depth.
fertig.
Rohr 3, bewässern!
Let's get 2 of them here. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Rohr 3, bewässern.
Los!
Okay. Excuse me.
40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 20 Sekunden. 10 Sekunden bis Einschlag.
Okay.
Der Aal ging daneben, Herr Kaloi. Fehlschuss.
Again. If we can believe it, they went underneath again. Ay, ay, ay. This is just... If I was the captain, I'd be really unhappy. I mean, you know. If I was... let's call it 8 this time. 8. Course. Distance. Yeah, I can understand why submarine captains were not too happy about
Rohr 5, bewässern!
torpedoes. I'm not too happy about them.
Rohr 5, bewässern.
Los!
Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 20 Sekunden. Treffer. Schwere Schäden am
All right.
Rumpf.
Jeez. Okay, got one hit here. Let's focus on the other.
Zu Befehl.
Okay. Velocity. Oops. Go ahead, call that velocity 8 again. Seems like they're going a little faster. Set distance. Set.
Rohr 1, bewässern!
Rohr 1.
Los!
All right. Unlock. Okay. See what we got here going on. 2 misses, 1 hit. Disappointing. Okay. Uh, Empire Bell. Call it 7 knots. 8 knots I think was a little bit too much. Course. We'll call it here. Distance. Oops. There we go. Distance. Set.
Rohr 4, bewässern. Rohr 2, bewässern.
Rohr 4 fertig. Rohr 2 fertig.
Los!
Okay.
Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Rohr 3 geladen. 10 Sekunden bis Einschlag.
All right. Just hope they're not duds.
Treffer.
Okay.
Schwere Schäden am Rumpf. Treffer.
All right. It helps. I'm glad that other U-boat's taking some of the heat. Actually, most of the heat. The escorts really haven't been focusing on us. I think she might be done for. So we got a report that our U-boat friend was sunk. Just too bad, I guess. We're gonna have to. We're just gonna wait, see if it sinks, and then we're gonna have to get out of here. All right. All right. So we sunk the Pegasus too. Okay. Let's get out of Dodge.
40.
All right. Let's get down here.
60.
I would be really upset about those torpedoes if I was the captain. I mean, if I'm the captain, but if it was in, I can understand why U-boat captains were upset about the torpedoes.
70. Auf Seerohrtiefe.
All right, the escorts kind of scattered away. They left. I'm not sure what's going on. But the merchants went one way, escorts went the other. We're going to try to get caught up to the merchants and see if we can put some holes in them, right? To sink some of these merchants. All right, so we're on the surface catching up to these merchants that were left alone. These appeared to be left alone, so we're going to try to pick them off. We got to be try to be as fast as we can about that. It's actually not too bad. I think that's another merchant there. It's not a warship. One of the merchants kind of went off that way, and these are some other merchants. So, but let's try to be quick about it. All right. we're getting ready to go to deck guns here.
Herr Kaloy.
All right, let's get going, guys. Like a fox in the hen house here. Ah.
Feuer an Deck.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Try not to waste our ammo here. Move on to the next one. I'm pretty sure she's done.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
All right.
Kurs setzen. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Feuer an Deck.
Okay. We're gonna assume that she's done. We'll circle around for her if she's not.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Legen Sie den Kurs an. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Feuer an Deck.
Okay, we're gonna assume that she's done. Hopefully.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Legen Sie den Kurs an.
Feuer an Deck.
And this one should be done pretty soon.
Schneller, schneller!
Make sure she doesn't ram us. Yeah.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Hope it sinks. Taking its sweet time there.
Herr Kaloy.
There she goes.
Legen Sie den Kurs an. Kurs setzen.
Alright, there's our last ship here. It's trying to get away from us.
So müde.
Legen Sie den Kurs an.
Feuer an Deck.
She's gonna go down. Alright, that's it. Good job, man.
Kapitän. Bestätigt.
Okay.
Sehr wohl, Herr Kaloy.
see if we can help her.
Herr Kaloy? Herr Kaloy?
Come on. Try and get her to sink here. Target practice, I guess.
Legen Sie den Kurs an. Schneller, schneller!
Okay. Let's get AP going here.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
There she goes. She going? Finally. All right.
Zu Befehl.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Schneller, schneller!
All right. So we cleared up that convoy. Made up a little bit, I guess, for it was torpedo misses. See if we can pick up some more survivors.
Schneller, schneller!
All right, so rescued 8 of the survivors for those extra points. Gave some supplies to the men on the lifeboats, and we're going to be headed on our way back to our patrol. We were a little out of our patrol area, but it was definitely worth it. So we're going to continue our patrol, and hopefully we'll meet another convoy like that.